Hi everyone, Matt Watson here from Carwow, and today I have an absolutely massive Chevrolet Silverado. So this is an alternative to the Ford F-150 pickup and the Dodge Ram. Believe it or not, this is one of the most popular vehicles sold in the United States. They shift around 40,000 of these a month. Bonkers! I'm going to try and tell you why this thing is just so popular by giving it a jolly good reviewing. Now to do that, I'll talk you around the exterior design. This is not a face you want to argue with. Let you have a look inside. Oh, this is good for a bicep workout. Show you how practical it is. Oh, you've caught me in bed. And take it for a drive. But before we get into that, please make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon to turn your notifications on so you're alerted when we make a new upload and you don't miss a single video. Let's start this review by talking about the Silverado's design. So here on the tailgate you have Chevrolet proudly embossed on the back. Chrome exhaust surrounds. They're not the exact exhaust outlet because the pipe is in there, but that's what AMG does, so I'm going to forgive them for that. I do like this, the tail lights with the cutout in them, pretty cool. This one is called the Trail Boss. Oh yeah. Now that means it's got a range of off-road upgrades such as a 2-inch lift to its suspension and some rugged off-roady tyres. These are running on 18-inch alloy wheels, so you can get this truck with up to 22-inch alloys. Now down the side, it looks like pretty much any other pickup. It's very generic. I do like the steps they have at the side, really tough and rugged. Moving to the front of the car, you see this Z71 badging there. At the front, it's really distinctive though. It sort of reminds me of a Camaro with the sleek lights, but then just bigger, scarier, super aggressive. And you've got some rugged towing eyes here. And because it's the Trail Boss model, they're in red. I want to show you this, look. These vents aren't all fake. They actually help smooth airflow down the side of this big beast. Tell you one thing, I really wouldn't want to get knocked down by one of these. In fact, if I could choose any car to not get knocked down by, it would probably be this because it just looks super frightening. On the inside, the Silverado has a traditional pickup design in the way that your dash is basically like a wall. It's just a vertical slab. There are bits of trim to try and liven it up, such as the metallic looking plastic here around the air vents and some questionable wood looking trim on the door. In terms of quality, well, the centre armrest is padded, so is this on the door and the door top. So things that you touch are padded and they're perfectly fine. There's a bit of padding up here on the dash as well, which you might touch for whatever reason. Maybe you're a motoring journalist trying to illustrate quality. But then some of the other plastics are just really cheap and a little bit nasty, shall I say. In terms of the layout, it's all pretty simple really. So you have your climate control there, your heated seats there, various things like your tailgate, your stability control down here. What is a bit odd is this though, the controls for the four-wheel drive system, whether you want to go into two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive or four-wheel drive low, is over here. I don't know why they've done that. It's next to the lights. Anyway, the steering wheel's nice and simple. You have your cruise control there and then another dial there to control various bits of the infotainment system. And that brings me on to the screen itself. As standard, you have a 7-inch screen, but this has the convenience pack, which means you're upgraded to an 8-inch screen. It's actually pretty nicely laid out, easy to swipe through. It's fairly responsive as well. You get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as standard, but weirdly there is no satellite navigation there. You don't really need it if you're just going to use your phone. I like the way you have physical buttons for the volume control and to skip tracks, so it's nice and easy to use while you're driving along. There's another little digital screen in between the main analog dials, and that shows things such as your trip computer information, your telephone stuff, your media, and your compass heading. Up here you have OnStar, which is by General Motors. Now we used to get it in the UK on Vauxhall cars, but not anymore, they stopped it. It actually gives you access to a call centre. You press that button and you can speak to someone who can give you help for lots of different things. There's also an SOS button which you can use if you have an accident and you need to be rescued. In terms of connectivity, you've got a USB-C there for the very modern people, a normal USB there, then there's your 12-volt socket in here, and ooh, look, a 3-pin plug socket as well. Now this little thing here is a bit unusual. Never seen that before. That's actually to control the braking of your braked trailer. Awesome. This is unusual as well. Now I'm used to steering mounted gear selectors because I've got a Mercedes at the moment, but this one is a little bit different because it's just so chunky. So you really have to tug at it and then whack it into position like that. I mean, look at that. It's huge. And actually on it as well is a plus and a minus, and you use that to control the gear that you want to be in if you're in low range mode. It's all a bit odd for a British person such as myself. What's less odd though is the copious amount of cubby spaces. So massive door bins, huge door bins, huge cup holders as well, because don't forget, Americans like those big bladder busters. There's also some more storage here for your glasses and stuff like that. And there's a little indentation here on the central armrest for your mobile phone. You also get 2 glove boxes, one that's rather small and one that's a little bit less small and is filled with what I technically call crap. Other features, oh, look at the size of this. Massive vanity mirror. And you can move the sun visor to block the sun because you've got some big side windows. Yes, that's a shout out to the straight pipes. Now, in terms of getting comfy, this car has electrically operated driver's seat and it's got 12-way adjustment actually, so it's dead easy to get comfy. Loads of room, and there's a cutout in the roof as well for really tall people. Don't know how tall you have to be to get all the way up there, but look, yeah, loads and loads of headroom. You're going to be absolutely fine getting comfy in this car. And you can alter the steering column on this particular car, though apparently that's not standard. There's some other things to note here. You've got these grab handles which help you get in and out of the car, but they do seem to just get in the way of your eye line a bit. Under here, there's some more storage, and this is copious. This is what I call a big bottle test. Wow, loads of room under there, and you've got some more USB connectivity and an aux-in as well. Though this isn't standard, this is part of that convenience pack I mentioned with the upgraded infotainment system, because normally you get this vehicle with a solid front bench seat, which is a little bit odd, isn't it? Anyway, let's see what it's like in the back. As you can see, there's absolutely loads of room here in the back of the Silverado. Knee room's generous. There's loads of foot space as well. You can really stretch out. Headroom's good. My only slight complaint is that the seat backs are quite upright, so you can't really slouch that well. If you need to carry 3 people at once, this rear bench is super wide, so you're not going to struggle for shoulder space, and the floor's almost completely flat, so you've got loads of room in the middle as well. It's very roomy. It's also very practical as well, so you've got your USB-C input there and your normal USB and a 12-volt socket. There's plenty of cubby spaces as well. You've got 2 cup holders here. If I fold this down, I've got another 2 and a square shaped thing there, maybe for a small carton of milk. Also, check this out. The rear seat backs have these little doors in, so there's more storage in there. Maybe hide your contraband in there. Or, if it's really big contraband, you can hide it under the flip-up seats. Look, there's another big bin under here. There's also some big door bins as well. And the rear windows are nice and big, and the sill is low, so kids can get a good view out. And check this. Oh yes, the windows. They go all the way down. They don't seem to have one touch closed though, which is annoying. What's less annoying though is getting in and out, because look, the doors open super wide, so even if you're super wide, you're not going to struggle to get into the back. Here at the back of the Silverado, you obviously have a place for attaching your tow hitch and then your electrical controls for your trailer. I like this feature as well. Look, double press this button and the tailgate lowers slowly so you don't break your wrist as it drops down on you. I also like this. You've got these little cutaways in the corners so you can step up and into the load bed area, and the payload on this is up to a ton. Now you also have these tie down points here, here, then in each corner as well, here and here, and they can secure 250 kilos each, so that basically adds up to the ton that you can carry here in the back. There's also a power outlet there as well, and you have these lights so you can illuminate your load bed when you're trying to load it at night. There's one thing that is a bit disappointing, that you can't then press the button to get the tailgate back up, so you have to do it like this. And that brings me on to 5 annoying things about the Silverado. The Silverado is not available with adaptive cruise control, just basic cruise control. And that can be a bit annoying if you have to do lots and lots and lots of long distance journeys. There's no sophisticated shark fin or even a retractable aerial here, just this one that you unscrew to remove. Yeah. The payload for the Trail Boss model is 200 kilos less than the normal Silverado. Must be something to do with the lifted suspension. The Silverado still uses good old-fashioned leaf springs, whereas the Dodge Ram has more sophisticated coil spring suspension. Well, it's nice that you can open the rear screen. It's a bit annoying that there's no switch to operate it here in the back. You have to go into the front in order to be able to do it. Yeah. Or obviously ask the driver, and that's just a bit annoying. Don't worry, there's still plenty to like about this car. Here's the carwow 5 core features. The Silverado's done more than 7 million miles of product development testing. That's more than any other General Motors product. Various body panels, such as the bonnet, are made out of aluminium to help keep the weight down, and that's why this latest Silverado is 200 kilos lighter than the old one, though it still weighs in at 2.3 tonnes. As well as knobbly tyres and lifted off-road suspension, Trial Boss models also get a limited slip differential and hill descent control. The rear view camera has a mode for reversing, another one for manoeuvring a trailer, and a third one for looking down at your tow hitch. As well as showing you your tyre pressures, the Silverado can show you your air filter life and your brake pad life. No other truck does that. Okay, let's talk about engine choices on the Silverado. So, you can get a 3-litre straight-six turbo diesel with 277 horsepower. Then there's a 4.3-litre V6 petrol with 285 horsepower. Next is a 2.7-litre 4-cylinder turbo petrol with 310 horsepower. Then there's this 5.3-litre V8 with 355 horsepower. Then the top of the range is a 6.2-litre V8 with 460 horsepower. And that can do 0 to 60 in just 6 seconds. You can get the Silverado as either 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive, and with a 6-speed, an 8-speed or 10-speed gearbox, depending on which transmission and engine combination you go for. Now let's see what the Silverado is like to drive. You sit up high, obviously being a big truck, but you do feel like you sit more in it than on it than with some other pickups. It's very easy to see what's going on though, because you've got a big glass area, and when you're just mooching around town, it's quite easy to navigate actually, considering it's blooming massive. What's also good is the steering. It's super light, and the brakes aren't too jerky, and provide pretty decent stopping power when you need them to as well. The gearbox, it's fairly sluggish and smooth. When you put your foot down, it takes a wee while to respond, then it gets into its stride and you're going. This V8 engine as well pulls pretty strong, and it's nice and smooth. I don't think you'd want any less performance than this has really though, especially if you've got a load full in the back. When you go on twisty roads such as this, it's actually all right. I thought it'd be dreadful and would just like fall off the edge of a cliff or something, but no, it holds the road all right. It's just when you really start to push it, it does start to run out of ideas. I think one of the big problems for me is the fact that being a ladder frame chassis and those leaf springs, you do feel the bumps in the road quite a bit. It's always constantly shimming and shaking around. Now if I want, I can put it into 4-wheel drive mode. I'm not going to bother. Then of course there's 4-wheel drive low range mode for when you are going up steep inclines or declines when you need the control. This is actually hauling itself up this hill quite well, to tell you the truth. But I think there's this point that I could reach, and I really regret that I've been pushing it so hard. I better just slow down a bit rather than get too carried away. Silverado does an all right job. So then, what's my final verdict on the Chevrolet Silverado? Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I reckon you should shortlist the Silverado. Okay, so it's not the best pickup to drive and its quality is a bit patchy in places, but it's really, really practical and good value for money. You also have a small digital screen in between the analog driver's dials, and that shows basic information such as your telephone, your meter. You also have a small digital screen in between the analog dials which shows stuff. You also have a small digital screen as well as your orientation according to the